Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And if you haven't heard the news, as of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, Disney has canceled the Jimmy Kimmel Live program. It is because of what the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, said appeared to that Kimmel's late night show appeared to have misled the American public about facts regarding the Charlie Kirk killing. And those comments that he made in this monologue that we're going to show you, hopefully I don't get banned or censored or whatever they call it here on YouTube, led to this, what the shows or the station would always call a suspension. Now, a suspension doesn't mean that he's coming back. He's fired. The FCC put a tremendous amount of pressure on Kimmel. And now, as you will always see with situations like this, anytime it's a corporate situation, the anonymous insiders will start to make the news rounds. ABC insiders are apologetic over the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they're blaming the network itself for not editing the controversial monologue before it aired on Monday. Kimmel's show was pulled off the air indefinitely Wednesday night, as we said, after the host made apparently false claims about the Kirk's accused killer, implying that he was part of the MAGA movement. Brendan Carr seized on Kimmel's comments in a Thursday interview with CNBC, saying that they appeared to directly mislead the public. Now, this is a slippery slope here, because my whole life has been teaching communications, teaching media. There is a fine line between protecting the public from misinformation, or propaganda, as they say, and censorship. It all depends on who benefits. Back in the day, comedians had a little bit of leeway. They had carte blanche when they would make fun of the president. They would make fun of political leaders, because, as they say in ancient times, the jester or the fool had the leash to mock the emperor. The emperor allowed the fool to mock him because it made him not human, but it made him one of the people. If he could laugh at himself, then the people would endear to him. And that's why comedians were protected for a very, very long time, until the 1950s and 60s, as you all know, with Lenny Bruce and all that other stuff. But people like Bill Maher, people like Kimmel, people like Jesus Christ, and like South Park, they hide under the tent of comedy to mock Jesus, Trump, people like that. And they get away with it because it all falls under the guise of comedy and, most importantly, free speech. This, however, the FCC, and according to ABC insiders, Trump and the FCC were targeting Kimmel and ABC. They already got ABC for $16 million over that moron Stephanopoulos' interview. They knew that Trump was targeting them. They knew specifically Trump was going after Kimmel. CBS had already gotten rid of Colbert. They were sick of him. He wasn't bringing any ratings, and they knew Trump was targeting him, and they knew the FCC was targeting them with massive fines coming. So this incident here, this apparent direct misleading of the public, was all the FCC needed. Now, they're smart because they didn't say that he lied or that he did something concrete. He he appeared, listen to the quote, he appeared to directly mislead the public. So there's a balancing act there. You take it for what you will. But ABC Disney was not going to take a chance. Corporations are cowards. If they see that they don't care how much money you bring in, they don't care how loyal you are, and Kimmel's show was on almost 20 years, I think, they'll get rid of you. They'll get rid of you in an instant. That's why you can never fall in love with your career or job, because you are expendable. Don't think you're special. You don't bring in as much revenue as Jimmy Kimmel did. And they got rid of his ass quickly. Just think what they'll do to you at your job if you step out of line. An ABC source fumed. Of course, this is an anonymous source saying ABC, and I quote, ABC is stupid. They should have edited Kimmel. They know Trump is after him. Their standards department should have flagged it. They should have known better. Standards and practices, of course, is kind of like your editor. They go over everything legal. Those are a bunch of lawyers, and they kind of determine whether something is too risque to be on air or not. Somebody dropped the ball there. And I'm going to tell you something. Standards and practices is a very important division. Those people are probably losing their jobs too. Those people are probably going to lose their jobs, probably already have, over this. They probably lost their jobs before Kimmel. Because once those people drop the ball, now you have to go into your agents and lawyers and find out if Kimmel has anything in his contract unbecoming of broadcasting, things that can get you fired, without them having to pay you. There are behavioral statutes or limitations in contracts like this, so you can't just curse every night or put pornography on there or anything like that. They can fire you without paying you if you cross a certain line. Now, Kimmel here is going to sue. He's going to sue because he's going to want all his money. And I don't know how much money they owe him. It's probably in the hundreds of millions. But he will sue unless Disney just says, hey, listen, we're going to pay you off and get rid of you. Disney is not that type of company. Disney fights for every fucking dollar they can. So Kimmel's going to have a big to-do here. He's going to spend a lot of money on lawyers. And Disney, of course, is a $100 billion, $200 billion corporation. They can fight this all day long. But will they? Now, Chairman Carr and President Trump have zeroed in on major networks, including ABC, over alleged bias in news distribution. Trump, remember, had settled a lawsuit for $16 million against ABC Disney last year over defamatory claims made by George Stephanopoulos. A source close to ABC has said that the settlement should have served as a lesson to ABC when it comes to sensitive political topics. I'm going to tell you something. The next show that's going to fall, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens within the month, is going to be The View. That show doesn't bring in ratings anyway, and it's too much of a pain in the ass, and those bitches are crazy. Now, I wasn't able to watch the show because I was at school, but from what I've heard, they were silent on this issue. ABC Disney probably sat these women down and said, you are not to talk about this at all. Otherwise, you're gone. They'll pull the plug on that show while it's on air. The insider went on to say, and I quote, it's ABC's fault after what happened with Stephanopoulos. They should have known, the person said, adding that Kimmel's monologue had veered into political commentary and away from comedy. But the thing is that Kimmel and Colbert and all these guys, and Fallon too, have always mocked Trump. They've always gone into political commentary. Why now? Is it because of Trump's legal battle victory? Did that cause precedent? Because once you win one battle like this, now it's a slippery slope. Now I'm going to go after you for this. I'm going to go after you for that. Now you can use the FCC as leverage, the Federal Communications Commission. You can use them as leverage and as your pit bull to attack you. And almost overnight, turn your network into something that it wasn't last week. We now have 2 late night hosts that are gone. Colbert is still in the air, but he'll be fired by the end of the year. And Fallon is probably at ABC Universal. He's been giving a talk to too. He's probably been told, "Hey, ramp it up. Don't even maybe not even mention Trump's name." ABC, of course, has not responded to any of these allegations. The comments in question came earlier in Kimmel's monologue Monday night when he turned to the brutal killing of Kirk at the event in Utah Valley University. And I'll show you what he said. I'm going to show you a couple of minutes because I don't know if I'm going to get censored here. After those comments, of course, conservatives slammed Kimmel, saying that he mischaracterized the political views of the accused shooter, Tyler Robinson, whose mother had said her son had shifted towards the political left and had become more, quote unquote, more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. The guy had a boyfriend who was pretending to be a girl. I mean, the kid was a homosexual. He was confused with his world, and he went insane. FCC Chair Carr said on a podcast Wednesday that Kimmel's remarks were part of a, and I quote, concerted effort to lie to the American people. That's where they get you. You can't ban speech, but you can ban propaganda. If you're lying, you can get into trouble for that. And they're saying that he misled the American public. We're going to look at this 2 or 3 minutes that's there. I'm going to be honest, it's sketchy to me. It's sketchy because, and if you agree with this Kimmel firing because of Trump and consider this a victory for conservatives, beware. Because what's good for the goose, as you know, because there will be a day when Democrats take over, and Lord have mercy, we know that they're more brutal than Republicans can ever be, and they will go after talk radio. They will go after social media. Social media might be in major trouble unless Trump passes legislation or to any sort of order that protects social media from this. But believe me, this isn't the end, and free speech is in big, big trouble. Carr went on to say that the FCC was going, and I quote, going to have remedies that we can look at, end quote. I don't know what that means. But it's scary. Hours later, NBC said Kimmel was off the air after Nexstar Media Group, which is an affiliate of ABC, confirmed that it would preempt Kimmel's programming in the wake of the remarks. Sinclair Broadcasting, another huge affiliate for ABC, said it had yanked Kimmel off the air until the host apologizes directly to Kirk's family and donates to his political activist group. That's never going to happen. That was kind of silly. But Sinclair Broadcasting, if you don't know, and Nexstar Media Group are massive affiliates in television. And the guy who owns Nexstar Media is named Peter Sook. I don't know what his affiliation is. I don't know whether he's a Christian or not or what he's doing. But he seems to have been the leader of this whole shakeup. It seems that this guy Sook was so offended, and he might be connected with Trump. He might be connected with FCC Chair Carr, that he may have been the one to spark this. You get a guy in media who knows the rules backwards and forwards. He calls Carr up and says, hey, listen, this guy stepped over the line for me. This is what he did. He misled the public. What can the FCC do? And that's all they needed. Now, of course, I'm speculating. But for Sinclair Broadcasting to demand an apology on air, and for him asking Disney to donate, or even Kimmel to donate money to Turning Point USA, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. They're going to fire Kimmel. They'll get rid of him. And like we said, Kimmel has been on Trump's radar since CBS canceled Colbert earlier this year. We remember in July, CBS axed the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It'll be off the air next May. Can't come soon enough. Citing, and I quote, financial reasons and sagging viewership. Now, at the time, Colbert had mocked his bosses for settling its own lawsuit with Trump over claims CBS ran the 60-minute deceptive edited sit-down with the then presidential candidate Kamala Harris. She looked terrible, and they deceptively edited that interview to make her look a little better. Didn't work, but that is propaganda. News agencies can't do that. You're assisting one party or one group over the other. You're a news agency. You're supposed to be down the middle. You're supposed to be impartial. CBS and 60 Minutes, which was the greatest news program, television newspaper, I don't know how to get that out, ever on television, has destroyed its reputation over and over and over again now. The surprising news caused Kimmel to blast the decision. Of course, this was about Colbert, writing in his personal Instagram story, and I quote, "Love you, Stephen, F you, and all your Sheldons, CBS," appearing to refer to CBS hit show The Big Bang Theory and the spinoff of Young Sheldon. At the time, Trump has celebrated on Truth Social, saying Kimmel and NBC late night host Jimmy Fallon were next. This was after Colbert got fired. Trump is quoted as saying, "The word is, and it's strong word at that, Jimmy Kimmel is next to go in the untalented late night sweepstakes. Shortly thereafter, Fallon will be gone too." Trump wrote, "There are these people with absolutely no talent who are paid millions of dollars for, in all cases, destroying what used to be great television. It's really good to see them go, and I hope I played a major part in it." You don't want your president to do these things. You just don't. Again, it's a slippery slope. And I know a lot of you are celebrating this, but it ain't good. It just ain't. Following ABC's decision to suspend Kimmel, Trump told reporters Thursday that the host was yanked over his bad ratings, end quote. Trump went on to say, end quote, "Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anyone else, and he was he had said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie, quote, end quote, Charlie Kirk." Oh my God, end quote by Trump. All right, so let's go over here. Let's play a few seconds of this to see what Kimmel said exactly, and you decide.
Weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in. They said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, you know. And I said, dead.
And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier. You sconces.
All right, so there is the you heard Kimmel himself say that this guy was associated with MAGA. He used MAGA specifically. So I don't know. This to me, it's a very slippery slope. Let's just put it to you that way. This is very dangerous territory here. And the FCC putting massive pressure to get Kimmel off the air. If the affiliates are very powerful, because depending on where a Nexstar Media Group is and the other one, they could be in, I think this is based in West Virginia, so they might have Virginia affiliates, Maryland affiliates, possibly even Pennsylvania affiliates. So if you have Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, those are pretty big cities. If you eliminate those big cities, you're taking a tremendous amount of revenue away from the show, and ABC just can't deal with that. But if the FCC were the ones that brought Disney to heel, that's government intervention on speech. Was Kimmel wrong? Yes. Has Kimmel done this before? Yes. Have they all done this before? Yes. Is this good for America? I'm going to tell you, I think it's very dangerous. I think it's very dangerous because you're setting precedent now. And one day, 2028, 2032, 2036, there's going to be a Democrat in there, and they're getting more radicalized and more angry and more psychotic as the days go by. And there may be a day where certain newspapers are shut down, talk radio is censored, and if social media gets censored, that's the ball game, guys. Now, Kimmel fans have gone on social media claiming that they've canceled their Disney Plus, which I'm not going to do that. Screw that. I love my Disney Plus. I like watching my Avenger Marvels and my Hulu, because I have Smallville on there. And this could be costly for the time being. Again, Americans are very fickle. We're pissed off one day, we're back at it the next, and they'll probably get they'll probably resubscribe to their Disney Plus. But the question that I have, and I think it's a legitimate question here, have we made and have we brought Charlie Kirk into this sainthood? I mean, we're at the point now where we can't mock Charlie Kirk. He's untouchable. You can mock Jesus all you want. You can mock God all you want. But Charlie Kirk, you're going to lose your job. Now, I'm not saying that it's a good thing to do that. You have to be insane to make fun of a guy who just got his neck blown off in front of his wife and kids. But we're living in a world now that it's just bizarre. Bill Maher here. This is from a long time ago, and we all know Billy is not the biggest Jesus fan. This is 2 minutes here where he just makes fun of Christianity, more specifically Catholicism, and he talks about Jesus dying and God and how silly it is. And I'll let you I'll let you.
All the time, and they say, "Bill, I'm with you. I saw your movie. We're right here. You know, I don't believe in that crazy biblical nonsense. Just the central story." Oh, you mean the stupidest part? I mean, come on. God had a son. I mean, time out right there. God had a son? He's powerful beyond all imagination. He exists in a realm above time and space, but he has kids? What is this, Bonanza? He has a son. God had a son, and he said to him, "Jesus, I'm sending you down to earth on a suicide mission. But don't worry, they can't kill you because you're really me. But it is going to hurt for a few days. I'm not going to lie about that, son. There's about 3 days you're going to hate me. But I'm doing this for you." I mean me. What am I saying? I'm me, you're you. But I go myself, but I have you. Me. What am I saying? Anyway. All right. Now. Now, Jesus, here's the plan. I, God the Father, wink, wink, I'll go down to earth first. You see, we'll split up the work because there's two of us. Not really. I'll go down to earth and I'll see if I can find a virgin Palestinian woman to impregnate so that she can give birth to you. I mean me. What am I saying? It's like Faye Dunaway in Chinatown. My sister, my daughter, my sister, my daughter. I mean, it is one of the silliest stories I've ever heard, but I don't mean to offend.
You can mock God and Jesus all you want, but Charlie Kirk, you better stay away from that guy. Yeah, our priorities are upside down. They definitely are. And this Charlie Kirk thing has just gotten totally out of control. Praying for his soul in heaven. And from what I'm starting to hear now in this little deep dive, I did not know this. I should have known this, but I did not. He married a Catholic woman. He's raising his children in the Catholic faith, so thank God for that. But he was, according to what Candace Owens said, and I was reading a little bit about this today, he was seriously considering converting to Catholicism, and we'll go into this one day because I need to do research on it more so I can explain it better. But that is a very touchy subject for Jews. Because if you are a Catholic and you go out there, as this guy Kirk did, and you start to convert the masses, and you convert them more to Catholicism and not this Diet Coke Christianity, that's dangerous. Well, for them. That's glorious for us. The conspiracy theory, of course, is that the Israelis or the Jews killed him. I don't know. I don't know if that's factual or not. What we do know is that this kid, Robinson, was mentally disturbed. He was in no way, shape, or form associated with Donald Trump or the MAGA movement or conservatives. He had a demonic relationship with a other mentally disturbed boy, and other mentally disturbed individuals over the social media were probably egging this kid on. Did he pull off that shot? 1 in a million type shot. And I keep seeing these podcasts where these Navy SEALs and Green Berets and all these guys say he couldn't have done that shot. I don't know. I don't know. What I can tell you is that we're living in a world that is just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. People don't read the Stoics anymore. They'll watch girls on stage jiggling their asses, being half naked, singing stupid lyrics and songs to synthesizers all day, every day. Pick up Plato? No way, Jose. I won't do that. Looking to study the sacraments? Oh, come on, bro. That's boring. I want to watch some, black chick gyrating her fat ass and reciting ununderstandable lyrics. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to spend my Saturday. All right. There's my 2 cents, maybe 3 cents. Thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. As you can see, Satan is always busy. Busy, busy, busy. Be a man. Have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.